Well, hello, and welcome to the 2012fad.com. I'm your host this evening, Charlie Bluehawk. Last night we chatted about the last chance, that one single moment in time where we as a people, we as a race, had one last chance to seize control of our country, of our world, back from the masters, the elite, the Committee of 300, the Olympians, without a civil war, without even shedding one drop of blood. I was there. It was December 2000. I was in Los Angeles, and I saw that moment coming and was there, then it was gone. And it was truly heartbreaking to see that we as a race really are nothing but cattle. I have to agree with the New World Order on several of their things after fighting with them for decades. 98% of the human race are cattle. We just don't allow ourselves to think for ourselves, to reason for ourselves. We have to be directed and shown what to do. And what a waste, what a tragedy. Anyway, now as we know, the only way we can reclaim our world is with blood and, a lot of it. We need a civil war. Nice thing about this is it took less than 5% of the population of the United States of America, better known as the 13 colonies at the time, to actually rise up and go to war against George III. Well, now, a few hundred years later, we just had George IV and we had George V, equally bloodthirsty bastards. So it won't take a lot of our populations to stand up and say, no, we ain't taking this no more. But happily, the brown dwarf star, the companion, the boyfriend of our primary yellow sun, is going to solve the problem for us. It will be here. It is here now. Just look towards the South Pole and you can probably see it, especially if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. And when it passes between the Earth and the Sun, it's going to flip our world end for end like a billiard ball, as it has done every 32,000 years like clockwork. We spoke a couple episodes back about National Geographic in 1964 I'm not even sure what the correct word is. They did a magnetic scan of the bottom of the ocean, tracing the magnetic traces in magma, and they found traces of magma on the ocean floor, and it was in strips. Every 32,000 years, the first strip would be positively charged. The strip of solidified magma right next to that, the next 32,000 years, had a negative charge, which means that every time this magma solidified, it held the magnetic charge at that particular moment in time, which meant either every time the world flipped, the direction of the magnetic charge changed. So here we have, I don't want you to say things like positive proof, but damn, isn't that hard to ignore? So we have all these little wars over oil that our masters are having us fight that will sweep us all away. Oil, of course, being a natural byproduct of the earth herself. The earth makes oil, just like she makes water and air. And she gives us everything we need, and look what we're doing. Anyway, so our masters are having us fight these wars over oil, which we don't need. And it's going to sweep most of us away. And before we even get up the courage, the nerve, or even give ourselves permission to act like men and women and not like frightened cattle, and rise up and take our world back, this little brown dwarf star is going to do it for us. Nature will be doing our job for us. But if you're interested in surviving the event, you have lots of questions. Me, I've known about the event since I was a small child, and was always very puzzled and confused as to why no one else could see what was, to me, very obvious. Never really impressed by the level of intelligence of the people that I grew up around. They were ex-Army intelligence, CIA, military, really the dregs of the earth. Oh, and, I did try talking about it when I was little and other such things, but I never learned to keep my mouth shut, sadly. Lord knows the adults I grew up with tried their very best to beat it out of me, which is why today most of the bones in my body have been broken. Heck, my nose is still broken, and all of this was done to me before the age of 5. The fact that I'm still alive, I suppose, is a testament to my own grotesque stupidity. I was just too stupid to realize that I was beaten and outnumbered and should have just lied down and died. Many times I wish I had, rather than to have experienced what I've experienced the last couple of decades. But here I am today, still trying to wake up enough good people that a few of us will stand a chance. Will we? Well, that's a really good question. Frankly, it really is out of my hands. It really is all up to you. I can only tell you what I know, and then you have to decide. I will survive the event. Why? I truly, again, have no idea. But it does get us down to some really basic questions. The first one is, where? Where in the world do you go to survive and live and prosper after the world doesn't come to an end? It just restarts itself. It's like rebooting your computer after it flips end for end. And, of course, this will take away everything you've ever known. So, well, let's look at this. What do we know? The big wave. Lots of ice dropping into the southern oceans will cause a wave that will sweep away everything in its path. Now, bear in mind, its path will be, of course, confined to any city that is sea level, which means every major city in the world. It's moving pretty fast, moving at the speed of sound. It's 5,000 feet tall. It's a mile high. So it's got some, it's got some leverage behind it. It's got some oomph. So it's going to be able to go inland really far, and it's going to be able to go fairly high up into the mountains. And that is, of course, the question, mountains. So, number one, big wave. 2, planetary lightning. So as the brown dwarf star passes through the plane of our solar system, the planets that orbit it, the 3 of them, will start exchanging electrical charges with our planets. Just look at Mars, and there's a lot of surface scarring that nobody can explain. Take a look at some really good pictures. It's fairly illuminating, pardon the expression. So, starts with big wave, then we have lightning as our constant buddy and pal for a few years. So, knowing these 2 really basic facts, what do we do? Well, again, mountains, very high mountains, and caves, nice big caves. Fortunately for us, both exist in abundance on this planet, at least for the few of us who are going to pay attention to such things. There are caves in this world of ours that are big enough to hold entire metropolitan cities, naturally occurring caves. Caves is not a problem. Mountains, always a good bet. You see the masters, the elite, are going down into the earth. They're going miles and miles down into the earth. They've sort of forgotten a few basic things, like 1, spare parts. They're not really big on planning. They're more of the blunt hammer on the head kind of guys. And the funny thing is, most of these guys in charge are women. There's the Queen of England and the Queen of the Netherlands, who are actually the rulers of the Western culture. We'll touch on that someday. So they're forgetting a few basic things. Spare parts and the fact that this huge electromagnetic pulse, the lightning, is going to fry basically everything that they have, and they're going to be left trapped in pretty much the center of the crust of the Earth. Anyone ever read H.G. Wells' The Time Traveler? Remember the Morlocks and the Eloi. Personally, I'm pulling for the Eloi, since we're already basically cattle, but at least we'll be up in the sunshine eventually. So, some more fun facts for you to research on your own. 1, did you know that agriculture and every civilization on this planet today began high up in the mountains? Then over time, worked its way down to where it is today. Kind of makes you wonder why anybody in their right mind would want to farm on the very top of a mountain. Unless, of course, the mountaintops were islands at the time. There are actually still tribes in South America living way, way, way up in the mountains who are terrified of the ocean that they've never seen and refuse to come down out of the mountains. Sound fairly intelligent to me. Second fun fact for you. Look at ancient cave paintings, drawings, on any continent from any culture in the world. They all depict the same concepts: lightning in the sky, striking the earth like rain. And yet these folks survived, and, who drew the pictures? Well, more on this and other fun thoughts next time. As always, we here at the 2012 The Fad have a plan to survive the event, and we will enjoy life and prosper and be happy because most of you won't be there. We have a plan. Do you? For all of us here at the2012fad.com, this is Charlie Bluehawk wishing you a really good day and reminding you to keep a good thought.